Everyone, are you all awake? So it feels very good to be back here, because this was the place where I started my career. Most of you may not know, I worked as a lecturer from 1998 to 2002 till I cracked my civil services exams. And so this is the place that I always feel, fills me with nostalgia because, this is one of the premier institutes of our state. And the institute is not made premier by the walls and the buildings. Of course, we add to it. It gives augments the feeling of a college, but it is the people who make the college a premier institute. And both with the lecturers and the students together, when I see the Sikkim Government College, the erstwhile Sikkim Government College, now the Narbadur Bhandari Government College, go leaps and bounds, it fills the heart with pride, because every time I cross this way, I know that this is where it all began. So my previous speakers how they prepared, how they struggled in life, in civil services. Let me tell you about what it entails to be a civil service officer in the state of Sikkim specifically. So as I told you earlier, mo lecturer thi, I was working here and I used to enjoy my job. I always wanted to be a lecturer basically because I felt I was just married and I would be able to give more time for my children, my family. We had a lot of, I could give time to my children, I thought. So I was working here and then the vacancy was announced, and it was announced after almost 7-8 years of direct recruitment. Every year we don't have civil services vacancies, and that year it came up with 25 vacancies. When the vacancy came out, like any other graduate at that point of time, everybody applied because कति धेरै वर्षको बाद आएको थियो यो vacancy. मैले पनि I applied, and because I never started out to become a civil service officer, but I had a habit. I used to read newspapers. I used to always see current affairs. So मलाई थाहा थियो त्यति बेला internet थिएन, forget about mobile phones. So we had to rely, and I think cable TV was also not there. We just had NDTV news, which used to come 1 घण्टा आउँथ्यो इभिनिङमा, दूरदर्शन कि केमा 1 घण्टा बेलुका आउँथ्यो. सो हामीले दूरदर्शनको न्युज, एनडीटीवीको 1 घण्टाको न्युज आउँथ्यो त्यति बेला, अनि वी ह्याड टु रिलाइ अन द पेपर. त्यति बेला सिक्किममा पेपर आजको पेपर भोलि होइन पर्सि आइपुग्थ्यो. सो बट आई युज टु किप कलेक्टिङ नेसनल पेपर्स, हिन्दुस्तान टाइम्स, इन्डियन एक्सप्रेसहरू. आई युज टु किप रिडिङ, एन्ड रिडिङ हेज अलवेज बिन माई फर्टे. म जहिले पनि पढ्छु एनी म्यागजिन्स. एन्ड आई रिमेम्बर एज सुन एज द सिभिल सर्भिसको एक्जाम पब्लिस भयो, I didn't know when the exam was. I picked up a book called Manorama Yearbook. तपाईँलाई थाहा छ कि छैन that it existed, but in those days that was the place where we would get all our information from who was the first prime minister, first lady prime minister, all those. किन म त हिस्ट्री स्टुडेन्ट थिएन. I was in the department of zoology and I was teaching here. So त्यसले गर्दाखेरि I knew that मेरो current affairs was very weak, and history त zero नै थियो because I left history in class 10, and Sikkim history also we had to brush. So त्यसले गर्दाखेरि I started off knowing that म current affairs सक्दिनँ भनेर I started reading the Manorama yearbook of 2 years, 3 years, every day, like I was reading for my subjects. And also because I used to enjoy teaching, म lecturer हुँदाखेरि, because good teachers have always made an influence in my life. And what I was taught in class 8, my profit and loss sum, my class 11, the glycolysis cycle, I still remember today, and I attribute it to my teachers at that point of time. So when I was given the role of a teacher, I made it a point to very sincerely teach the children, and that I think really helped me when I was writing my exams. Because when I wrote my civil service exams, I had an English language malai problem thena. I studied in an English in a private school, and then I didn't have I prepared for my current affairs, so I knew I would not do so badly there. But the best part was we had to take 2 papers. I had took zoology and chemistry, and in zoology, because I was teaching the graduates at that point of time, I knew every single question on that paper, including the optional questions. So I was confused what to choose, and that I attribute because I made a sincere effort to teach my children at that point of time. तपाईलाई थाहा हुनुपर्छ त्यति बेलाको we were affiliated to the North. I think Mahapatra sir was my colleague at that point of time. Sorry, Purohit sir, not sorry. I'm sorry. Purohit sir was my colleague at that point of time. North Bengal University we were affiliated, and it was very difficult to pass. We had pass course and honors course, and in the pass course, मेरो classमा I used to have 140 students to 160 students, because everybody used to come pass course ma 140 160. So we had to take attendance, and attendance was mandatory हैन. तर मैले के गर्थे त्यति बेला भने I used to take attendance every alternate 2-3 class, because 140 जनाको attendance in the half the class is to go. And I always said, those of you who are interested in studying, stay back. Those who want to have a enjoy life, please go ahead भनेर. I used to do that, but children used to come to the class to attend. So because I used to prepare for my classes, and also see, and I used to also त्यति बेला computer पनि बेसी थिएन, but I had access to a computer. I used to make notes for my children, see the past. त्यति बेला हाम्रो स्टुडेन्टहरूलाई धेरै स्ट्रगल हुन्थ्यो, पास्ट क्वेसन पेपर पनि पाउँदैन थियो, यति किताब दोकानहरू पनि बेसी थिएन त्यति बेला गान्तोकमा. सो हामीले नै त्यो ल्याएर दिन्थ्यो. बट वाट आई रियलाइज वाज, बिकज आई वाज डुइङ दिस टु हेल्प माई स्टुडेन्ट्स, it helped me in my preparation for the civil services. So what I want to tell you is, whatever, once you decide, you have to be very sincere about it. Whatever work you are doing, you are a student right now. If you sincerely study, it will definitely help you in whatever exams you write. And you pornu just not for the sake of studying. You must understand, comprehend, and then go forward. So this is one thing I feel it will not only help you while you're preparing for your civil services exams, but it will also help you after you get into the services. So my two speakers have already told us about how they've struggled and how they've got ahead in life, and it's very inspirational. Everybody has different stories to tell. Let me take you into the life of a civil service officer once I'm in the service, what it entailed, you know. So I started, I got, in 2002 I joined the services, and I was posted in Home Department at that point of time. अब civil service officer, under secretary, oh, you don't know what it is, because internet हरू त्यस्तो थिएन. But we went and did our job. But I had very good mentors in the service. So I was told, so at that point of time, Prime Minister Vajpayee decided to come to Sikkim. And that time I realized that I suddenly turned into an event manager, you know, managing because the visit of the Prime Minister, त्यति बेला Prime Minister आउनु भएको थिएन, and we had very few hotels at that point of time. So it was difficult to accommodate around how many, 35 or 40 people were visiting along with him, and we didn't have hotels to accommodate. I also remember going to the tourists in Rendezvous Hotel and pleading with them, can you vacate the room, and we were shifting them to smaller hotels, because Rendezvous was the biggest hotel at that point of time. So but we had to just move into it and get, and I couldn't say म चाहिँ officer है, म चाहिँ गर्दिन भनेर हैन. I had to be on the field to be very polite to the tourists, because we depend on them हैन. तर at the same time to make them feel very special that तपाईहरु त प्राइम मिनिस्टरको entourage को लागि room vacate गर्नुपर्छ, and they also very nicely agreed. So I realized that if you speak nicely to people at any point of time, everybody will be there ready to help you. Okay, so you just don't sit with an attitude that you are an officer and nothing will get done. Nothing will get done. So that was what in Home Department. Then of course I'll just share with you significant places where I've been. Then as I went to Commerce and Industries, there, you know, I was very fortunate. Indo-China border trade through Nathula was going to be there almost. And at that point of time, you know, the roads to Nathula was very bad. It used to take me around 3 घण्टा लाग्थ्यो. It was like a horse ride, you know, त्यो घोडा चढेको जस्तै हुन्थ्यो. मेरो जिप्सी थियो एउटा पुरानो सफ्ट टप जाँदा. It used to take, but I used to leave at 5 in the morning, because we have very less officers working in the department. 5 I used to leave. I used to reach by 8 o'clock. Thankfully त्यहाँ आर्मीकोहरू हुन्थ्यो, अलिकति ब्रेकफास्टहरू खान्थ्यो. देन त्यति बेला बोर्डर ट्रेड शेराथाङमा जुन चाहिँ तपाईँले देख्नुहुन्छ त्यो केही थिएन. इट वाज जस्ट ढुङ्गा त्यो बनाउनु थियो. बट आई इन्जॉयड द्याट, बिकज इट वाज भेरी च्यालेन्जिङ, एन्ड आई कुड सी इट कमिङ अप. You know, कसरी बनायो, that inauguration, how we did itself was a big you know, task. त्यहाँनिर भात पनि पाक्दैन थियो चिसोले गर्दा. So it was very difficult. And also you know, the border trade ko, then evening, afternoon I used to come down from Nathula. I used to start by 12 o'clock, so that I'm in the office by 3 o'clock. And 3 o'clock, then we used to stay in the office and then communicate with the ministry and all. So it was interesting. So what I'm trying to tell you is the variety of works that you get to do as a civil service officer. And त्यति बेला, I think for the first time and the only time, we had our senior officers from the Ministry of External Affairs, Home Affairs, coming in from China into India through the Nathula border, you know, passport ma stamp ladder. That was very historical, and I was very happy to be a part of that. And you know, it helped me understand that actually the border trade was a border trade ma the list pani, it was very restricted. But the main thing about the border trade was, you know, to maintain peace in the border, maintain a cordial relation so that there is no tiff at the border side, and especially in Nathula, because Nathula ma tapaile hernu bhayo bhane I think tapaiharu janu bhako cha hola haina Nathula. From when you see from the Indian side, you see all the valley, Chumbi Valley, which is a plain. So China pati the terrain is much more friendlier than it is towards Indian side. So Chinese people will come very easily into that border, but for India it is little difficult. Hamro hilltop ma cha. But then thankfully it was a good historical thing for us, and happy to be a part of that. After that we came. Let me tell you about planning department. Ma we had, of course, we get a whole overview of what are the works ke huncha different departments ma. And then after that, the most significant phase I spent in my rural development department. So civil services is one service where you can help the society, you can help the people, and you must enter civil services knowing that it is a service filled career. If you are there to make money, that's not the right place. If you are there for power, you are in the wrong direction. But if you really want to see what you can do to help improve the lives of the people in the society, the people in the villages, this is where you should be, because it is like being paid to do social work. Okay, so we are getting paid, we are getting salary, but we are doing social work at the end of the day. So in our rural development department, I really had a good time, because then I could see the length and breadth of Sikkim. Kata manche ke gardecha. So I was the project director for MGNRHS. Yaad cha haina MGNREGA ke ho? Yaad cha ki chaina? It's a poverty alleviation scheme. But in Sikkim, we are all a part of this state, so, and we don't want to say I am poor, I don't have money, I don't have this. Nobody wants to say that. We transform the scheme into building assets, building something in the villages so that the life in the villages will improve. And it was so fulfilling to see things coming up to life. A person jasko ma gai goat theina, we try to make a cow shed so that tyo manchele ghari ghari chai he doesn't have to repair. And there have been huge success stories. And cardamom, we did cardamom plantation for people, and I could see people earning lakhs and lakhs of rupees selling the cardamom. I think so will know that in Higaon we were able to sell 10 lakhs of cardamom seedlings to people from Nagaland at that point. So when people are ready to work in the villages, and our people, especially in rural Sikkim, we are very, very simple people. They are ready to listen to you. They are ready to take your help. They will always come forth. But we as the civil service officers have to reach out to them. We have to go to the villages and see how we can help improve their lives. And by improving their lives, we are also gaining, because our economy is improving, and the society that we are going to leave behind for our own children and grandchildren is going to be better. So this is what I felt in MGNREGA we did, where we were also able to transfer a lot of funds directly. म काम गर्दाखेरि 130 देखि 140 crore annually आउँथ्यो, out of which 80 crores and above used to go into the banks of the villagers in the village directly. So our economy was boosted with that much, even though a villager was getting annually 10-15,000 for MGNREGA wages, but we made sure that this much of money went into the villages. But if you want to sit back and do nothing, then we were one of the first states to go into this direct benefit transfer. And 2014-15 when there was a lot of problem about MGNREGA, they wanted to sort of let the scheme die. And Sikkim, we had a lot of problem. Kinan hamro poverty index is very low compared to the rest of the country. So हामीलाई officers we were questioned in Delhi. तपाईहरुलाई किन MGNREGA चाहियो? Your state doesn't need MGNREGA. So that time the ministry people were able to tell Sikkim is one place where a lot of innovation takes place, where a lot of systems are laid down, which becomes national policy. So a lot of what we did in Sikkim, in the state, we were able to influence the national policy, and because of that they allowed us. So don't think that your contribution is not helping. Everybody is I am sharing with you my story, but this is just not my story. I am only the face. I cannot work without a team. So to be in civil service, you have to be a team player. Sabai maile gare, maile yo doesn't work. This is ours, our state, our work, our society. Hamile garnu parcha. So this is very important. So you must have a mindset that if you are into civil services, you want to get into civil services, you have to forget about you as an individual. We have to see how we can improve our society, how we can help our children do better, how we can make the society a better place, how we can help make the world a better place. I think you've heard about our Dhara Vikas policy. Dhara Vikas was, again, it just started as very simple. Pani thena, we went to South Sikkim, lot of complaint panchayat, hamlai pani dinos, pani dinos, pani dinos. Now all the dharas were drying up, all the streams were drying up, and always remember, nobody is going to come from Delhi, Bombay to help you address your problem. You have to find the solution yourself. And don't think because I'm small, I'm big, mero ta ke ho ra. No, all the best of ideas comes from the most unimaginable places. So when we started Dhara Vikas, we did this. I don't know whether you know or not, but we just try to capture the rainwater and let it get into the soil. So Dhara just nasukos banera hamle garyo. And this was it was such a huge success that soon we had people from the entire Northeast coming to learn from us. Then we had Nepal coming to learn from us. Then we had Bhutan coming to learn from us. Then it made so much of stir that, in the Water Resources Ministry, the minister was Nitin Gadkari. His office called me and said, the minister wants to see this presentation. So I went with my team and we went and gave him. He invited the Chief Minister of Himachal also, then and there, that knows what Sikkim is doing for their water problem. So we did. It was a very small thing, and we are a very small state. We may be rejuvenating 50-60 वटा धाराहरू. If I go to just West Bengal, they will be talking in thousands of dhara. It won't make. But we were able to create that impact. And then he called me to Bhujal Manthan, Nagpur Marakhera. And then I had the entire NIT, IIT, Roorkee, National Institute of Hydrology coming and asking me how we are doing. And then UNDP wanted to come and work with us. We did that. And subsequently, they even called, the UN invited me as a panelist in the COP24. You know what is COP24, no? Climate Change Conference. They gave me an invitation to attend the COP24 conference in Poland at that point of time. And I went and presented our success story to them. So, staying in Sikkim in a small place, if I just sat back and said, yo bhaihalcha, yo office file chalonchu, eta chalchu, it wouldn't make any difference. But we were able to do this, and this has now become a national policy. And when they were crafting the policy, Sikkim is a member in the working committee, and we drafted the policy, and the national policy is already framed and they're implementing it now. So what I'm trying to tell you is there is scope for all of us. All of us just have to have that sincerity to work. And what you're doing will, even if it helps, one person at a time, it will really be a good thing. And we all have to work together in the society. So civil service is a very, very noble profession for all of us. And, you can really see your ideas being implemented on the ground, and you get a chance to implement these ideas. And Sikkim is comparatively easier than other states, because you have political leaders who are willing to listen to you. Yeso garda huncha, yeso garda when we give, and we have the public also coming to us, and we are able to explain to them. And likewise, after I finished my tenure in RDD, now I'm in social welfare, and it's been a year now. And again, another different work I'm doing. Right from climate change to poverty elevation to helping people. Kasle kasko paisa payo, kasko paisa paena, paisa bank ma pasyo pasena. I was also mission director Swachh Bharat, so you all know about Swachh Bharat mission. We were the first state in the country, so we got the national award. So we've been getting a lot of awards. RDDMA, I think in my tenure we got around 25 awards and also for transparency and accountability, because we have a very robust transparency system. Those of you taphaihharu village bata aunu bhako ni, you'll know what is social audit all about, and that is an exemplary social audit that you have in the country. So those are the things. And now in social welfare, again I'm in the welfare side of the policies. Yeah, I look after. I realize that our children are getting very less scholarship. We look after the tribal, the minorities, the SC and the OBCs and economically weaker section. So within the 5 things that we look after, I think all of Sikkim is covered. So we are trying to see how we can reach more people. And we have a lot of staff right now. So what we have devised is, participative. I always tell my people, my junior colleagues in the office, हामी सबै मिलेर गरौँ, हाम्रै केटाकेटीले पाउँछ, हामीले गर्नुपर्छ. So this year our scholarship request has also, demand has also increased. And lately we've started the Nasha Mukt Sikkim campaign also. So Nasha Mukt is again another place that I would like to take this opportunity and also tell the children, we have done a lot of awareness programs, we have done so many things, but you are aware, I am aware that this is a menace that is really eating our society. भोलिको दिनमा तपाईहरु, when you are at our age, what will happen to the society if we let it go like this? So we have started a collaborative effort. My only thing to my everybody I meet is, if you can help one person stay away from drugs, or you can help one person who's already into drugs get the treatment that should be getting, then do you think it's possible to make Sikkim drug free? Yes. So but I alone can't do, the political leaders only can't do, all of us have to be there. This is what civil service provides us. It provides us a stage for frame policies, to implement them, to motivate the children, and this is one place that you can really give back to your society. It's not about earning money, and I know, living in Sikkim, I think everybody, you heard Tenzing sir speak, he was earning a lot of money. He wanted to come back to Sikkim. At the end of the day, we all want to work in Sikkim. We all want to live here. यहाँ तपाईलाई दिल्लीमा तपाईलाई 50,000 कमाएर तपाईले बस्नु भयो र यहाँ 20,000 कमायो भने यहाँ पैसा उब्रिन्छ, तपाईको दिल्लीमा पैसा उब्रिँदैन. The value of money is thing. And plus here you have your family, your extended family, your friends. It is a good place to be. It's like one big family. Even when I was doing the Nathula trade, I don't think it would be possible. 5 baji bihan मेरो 6 महिनाको नानी छोडेर जान्थे. I used to get up at 4 o'clock because my mother-in-law and father-in-law used to help me look after the baby. I didn't have anyone at that point of time to look after the child, so my mother-in-law was there. I used to get up at 4, cook breakfast, lunch for the family and move off by 5 o'clock. But if my mother-in-law was not there, who would take care, If I was in Delhi, if I was any other state, but because I had a solid support system at home, I could give my everything. And that is the advantage of being back in Sikkim, why we don't want to move out. I think today my children will want to come and work here. So when I think of that, it is my duty to do what I can to make this place a better place for the citizens of tomorrow. So, and you will be in my place, and you will also have to think in the same way. So if you want to help the society, if you want to do something for your state, I think this is the best service to be into. And as Sir and all said, how you have to prepare, it is there. But I want to tell you one thing, that you have to have a goal, of course. Your dedication is the most important thing to what you are doing, your sincerity in whatever you are doing. You have to be disciplined. Today I am talking about plastic-free Sikkim. I cannot be seen using a plastic. How will I tell somebody plastic na chalao, maile nai plastic chalaundaichu? So I have to lead by example. Nobody may be watching you, but you have to be answerable to yourself. One senior told me when I joined the service, he said, "Madam, tapai kasko lai kaam garnu hundaisa?" I was an undersecretary. Government of Sikkim bane. I think then you are in the wrong field bane. I said, why? Because if you start working for the government of Sikkim, you will be demotivated. You will not want to do anything. You have to work for yourself. If you work for yourself, then you will feel like doing more things. Because as a government servant, everything is not rosy. Sometimes you have up, sometimes you have down. It is you who has to keep yourself going on the right direction. Even when you are preparing, it is you who have to so you must have that temperament to go forward in life. Nobody is going to deter me. When we started Nasha Mukh Sikkim, how many people said, impossible. But I said, all of us, let's try to help one person, let us do it. Impossible, we'll make us beginning, soon it will spread. So these are the things that we can do. So dedication is important, sincerity is important, hard work is of course always there. And you have to always be there, answerable to yourself. And to see every day, one more thing, I think I just heard the question for Tenzing sir. Just before this, about you were being confused. I just want to tell each one of you, because you are living in an age of mobiles and internet, it is advantageous, because in our time we didn't have that, and so we didn't have information. But now you have information at your fingertips. But this will also be your biggest disadvantage, because you cannot concentrate. You cannot think in one direction for too long. Your attention span is too less because of the gadget. So all of you make a habit. If you want to get into the services, write your exams, you have to make reading a habit. You have to make, working hard, keeping your time, it has to be a habit. अर्को महिना एक्जाम लेख्छु आज सुरु गरेर, you will not reach there. It has to be a habit for you. And also every evening you sit down and think what you have done the whole day, how fruitful was your day, and also how have you reached out to people. You have to empathize. Your parents, तपाईहरुको प्यारेन्ट्सलाई, will they be happy with what you do? You have to look at all this, and introspection is very, very important, because आजकलको नानीहरु, I don't see them sitting down to think how their day has gone. we used to go in the evening, घर पुग्दाखेरि आमाहरुलाई आज बिहान यस्तो भयो, त्यस्तो भयो, यस्तो भयो, मैले यस्तो भने, यस्तो नभनेको भए हुन्थ्यो, यहाँ झगडा भयो, यहाँनिर यस्तो भयो, नगरेको भए हुन्थ्यो, because we used to come and reflect. And most of the people nowadays, most of the young generation don't reflect on what is happening. So, and then you reach a point of time where you're not able to take care of your own mental well-being. So if you make a habit of sitting quietly every day, and see how much have I prepared, did I cover what I was supposed to prepare, yo bhayo ki bhayena, sit alone with yourself for some time, away from gadgets, however less, it may be for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour, but do that, and that will make sure that your habits are formed, and you will really definitely reach your goal if you stick to the discipline that you inculcate right now. Even for school students, you must make it, my board exams is coming, I will do this, and you have, and use that social media, use that internet to find out what you can do more. Civil service garda kasari bolda rahecha group interview ma, kasari yesto garda rahecha. So you have to use it for your advantage, not for your disadvantage. You most of the time you only want to see things that hasyo ekchin hasyo kati हामी पनि we've realized we didn't grow up with the mobile, but आजको दिनमा त्यो मोबाइलले कति टाइम वेस्ट हुन्छ, only we know. And then what happens, you will stop getting into the habit of reading. And reading is very important. Even in the government, you have to read. I have to read papers, I have to see what other states are doing, whether we are doing the right thing or not, policies are framed, all those you have to keep reading. So these are the few things that I wanted to tell you. And don't get demotivated at any point of time. Don't look for motivation outside of you. You have to be your own inspiration. Make up your mind, make up your mental note, and say, this is how I will do. Information is there, sir and all are always there to help you how to crack your civil services exams or any exams. For example, Hamra Meghaniti Dal that sir was talking about earlier, he was the state topper for the 2014 SPSC examination, and the same year he cleared his IAS also. So if you prepare sincerely, you will definitely get somewhere. Don't get discouraged. Sometimes, and civil services ma bhayena bhane, that's not the end of the world. In Sikkim, there is scope for everything. Why do you think people come from outside to work in Sikkim? We don't see what we have. Hamroma ke cha, because you have not gone out and lived, you will not know the difficulties of living outside. But when most of the people I have seen, jo Sikkim bata baira kaam garnu jancha, everybody wants to return to Sikkim and do some work. And there is a scope. If you want to do business, there is scope. If you are into tourism business, there is enough scope. Why are we having so many people who have studied abroad and come back and they are still working in the hotel industry? Because they want to be back here and they know they can do it. So always keep a plan B ready, as sir said. Civil services is your main exams. And let me tell you, तपाईहरुले जति प्रिपेयर गर्छ यो सिभिल सर्भिसको लागि, it will not go for waste. It will surely help you in one way or for you that you want to make. And education is the most important thing. Don't take it very lightly. If you are a geography student, if you are a history student, you must know. The competition is so hard, so difficult. You have to know your subject. And if you know your subject, you will move forward with any career that you choose. It will help you. But these are the most important years of your life. And this, as sir said, you have all the time right now. I wish we had that time, because we are running and running and running. Sometimes I sit and think when it takes me half an hour to 40 minutes to reach my office from work, and I just close my eyes and sit and think what are the things I need to do and make a mental note, because we are always running short of time. So use this time, read a lot, read current affairs, keep yourself abreast of what is happening everywhere, and you will definitely crack any exam that you set for. And civil services, you do your best, you will get, but always remember that is not the end of the world. You have something else in store with whatever you've learned, but this preparation will never go in vain for you. And I wanted to just, before I end, I just thought I'll share. There is a small prayer that I've always made as my, it is like my motto or whatever. I always look at that prayer and I always remember it. So it is Serenity Prayer, it's called. And I learned it in my first year of college. It is, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. As a civil service officer, you should always remember this. Thank you and all the best. And you can always reach out to us whenever you need.